I'm Hannah and I'm from 5874 Commerce, and today I'm going to be speaking about how to increase checkout conversions. Just give you a little bit of a background about who we are as an agency. We're a global commerce agency based out of Birmingham's Creative Hub in Digbeth. We also have offices in London and Austin, Texas. We specialize in building beautiful, functionable, and scalable e-commerce websites, complex and bespoke integrations, and digital transformation projects. But being the leading BigCommerce partner in Europe and having over 10 years of experience on the platform, we've worked on over 300 builds, making us one of the most experienced agencies globally. A little bit about me and my role. I'm the marketing and partner manager at 5874 Commerce. I'm responsible for managing and building relationships between the agency and our strategic tech partners. Co-marketing, at the moment, they're all virtual events, but events nonetheless, and collaboration with our partners, and implementing 5874 Commerce's marketing strategies, building narratives, campaigns, and insights around e-commerce in the industry. So I'll just jump into my presentation now. In the coming slides, I'll be discussing how we can increase checkout conversions and looking at general issues with checkouts. So increasing checkout conversions should be a main priority of any e-commerce business, which is achieved by having a smooth and simple checkout process. It's not only a huge part of the checkout process, but also contributes to the consumer experience, including things like reducing cart abandonment, and it leaves your customers with more of a good taste in their mouth and hopefully returning for future purchases, which is especially important during the holiday season. I think as individuals, we're generally quite impatient in nature, and we expect a high level of service across all touch points, whether that be product information, variety, delivery time, or in this case, the checkout experience. So this is a time when customers are handing over their hard-earned cash, so we've got to make it worthwhile for them. I've focused on 3 key actions that merchants can implement to improve the checkout conversion flow. So the first is simplifying the checkout process by implementing address lookup. The second is reducing form fields and how form length can impact conversions. And the third is asking why users normally abandon a purchase. So the first topic I'm looking at is implementing address lookup. So adding the address lookup function essentially offers an autocomplete of the data where customers can validate or look up their address when entering it into the checkout form. So by adding the address lookup, merchants are able to maximize the efficiencies on the page, and time is saved from the customer's point of view as options are provided in a drop-down list where they only have to select from the correct details. And the autocomplete function saves time and reduces the risk of human error, which can cause loads of complications down the line in the delivery phase if those errors aren't spotted like pre-purchase. It's also really effective for when we're talking about mobile optimization. So with the size of a mobile device being significantly smaller and touch sensitive, the risk of human error here is considerably increased. So address lookup is great for mobile. Customers often feel irritated by unnecessary steps. So using this functionality allows buyers to save time when they're entering long addresses into the forms. The second thing that merchants can look at doing is reducing form fields. So reducing form fields at the checkout page can significantly improve the checkout experience as unnecessary elements are reduced from the page. And this can result in an increase in converting customers as there's less room for distraction. There's been some research done by Baymard Institute, which found that the average checkout flow has a really specific 14.88 unnecessary fields. And they also stated that the average checkout displays twice as many form fields as needed. I just really think we can all agree that some fields just aren't necessary, and this should be really considered when we're creating checkout pages. I think a good place to start is by asking yourself, what do we actually need? Like, what are the vital pieces of information? The Baymard Institute also have said that most sites can safely get rid of between 20 and 60% of fields in their checkout forms. And I'll give some examples of these in the next slide. Omitting these unnecessary elements from the checkout page is a really practical way to improve the user experience or UX of the page. ease of usability, while still being engaging and offering that seamless experience for the customer. And you don't want your customers to get bored either. So retaining their intention is really important until that conversion is made. Any lapse in the checkout process could leave you with an incomplete purchase or an abandoned cart. Also, an abundance of forms requiring personal information can be quite overwhelming for customers. If they think they're having to give too much of their data away, then they might be less inclined to then make that order. So some examples of how you can reduce form fields: using a full name field instead of the more traditional first and last name field is an immediate way to reduce the quantity, as the same information is still being collected. You can remove unnecessary drop-down lists. So, for example, if your business only ships within the UK, having a country selector with a drop-down of all the countries in the world would be redundant. So less is definitely more in that case. And automatically populating the billing address to match the shipping address, as this is usually the same. And then if it's not, then the customer can then manually update their address. What we found is when we were looking at 5 of our bigger clients, 92% of the time, the billing address was actually the same as the shipping address anyway. So that's a really good way to optimize your checkout. Just got some tips here for improving the mobile checkout flow. Formatting the fields so they're the right height, perfect for your thumb. Around 42 pixels is an ideal height we found. And using a screen-wide call to action, or CTA, in a color that stands out and is more easily clickable. So the next thing I'm going to look at is why users usually abandon a purchase. Not providing clear shipping costs and taxes and fees, or hiding them during the purchase journey, is one of the main reasons why users abandon a purchase. I think users find it frustrating when they're about to complete a purchase and the final cost is higher than the price that was originally stated. It's usually not a huge amount higher, but if the customer feels like they've been misled, this is then a negative experience for them. I'm sure we've all experienced this in one way or another and can attest to how annoying it is. I definitely can. Another reason why online customers would abandon their purchase is not having the right shipping options available to suit their needs. For example, an express delivery or a courier service or next day delivery. But with those in mind, we need to remember to be crystal clear about the perhaps elevated costs that might be incurred with these delivery variations. You should also consider making your returns policy clear and visible, as this can help with transparency and help incentivize a purchase. Offering a guest checkout option is always useful as well. And also offering varied payment options, for example, e-wallets. I'm just going to expand on the payment options a little bit here. So having varied payment methods gives your customer the option to pay in whatever way suits them, which presents your brand to be more accommodating and considerate for like the wider range of customer habits. And this also draws upon an element of personalization, which we already know can go a really long way in sort of increasing and augmenting the customer experience. So offering a secure payment gateway is not only key to gaining your customers' trust, but also it projects your brand as a more authentic and credible source. Using household names like PayPal or GPay or Apple Pay or something like Klarna for paying in installments are really highly recognized and reputable in the e-commerce industry. And they're really easily identifiable as safe and secure payment methods, because customers tend to be on high alert during the checkout process and they want to ensure that the sites are safe enough for them to make their purchase. Including an SSL certificate and mention of secure shopping experience is vital at the payment stage as a signal of trust. With the huge surge that we're seeing in mobile commerce, e-wallets have become really popular during the checkout stage, as they ensure frictionless transactions, and with their security improvements, they help promote that positive customer experience, along with one-click purchases, which are becoming increasingly popular for both merchants and consumers. And these brands that are adopting this mobile first approach, using these e-wallets as part of their customary process, they're seeing a huge benefit in offering GPay, Apple Pay, PayPal, these great payment gateways, as they're seamless and conversions can just be achieved with like the touch of your thumbprint. So it's really quick and seamless there. I've got an example here to show you about how the checkout has been optimized on BigCommerce for one of our clients, Yumi, who are an online fashion retailer, women's fashion retailer. I'll just play this video for you. So I've just scrolled down and selected an item to add to the basket. So when you add the item to the basket, an add to cart pop-up appears. This pop-up includes express checkout options with varied payment methods, PayPal, Amazon Pay, GPay, and this allows for a quicker, like a more express checkout. You can see on this page how the header and footer has been minimized and simplified, which helps remove any distractions on the page and retain focus during the checkout process. And also the fact that you only need to enter your email address to continue as a guest. There's no need to create a whole account here. This is an example of the address lookup function. So you see, if you can see there, I only had to enter the first 3-4 characters of the address, and then the rest was automatically populated, which saves a lot of time. And as you can see here, the delivery methods are shown and the pricing is really clear, as well as a description of the expected timings, and any other delivery comments can be entered here too. In part 3, you can see the question is asked, is your billing address the same as the shipping address? So this is often the case when customers are ordering for themselves, but they can choose either of the options there. And the 4th part here is the payment. So as you can see, there is a number of options available, giving the customer more variety and a better chance of them choosing a payment gateway that suits them. So just some final thoughts from me here. Just to summarize, a better checkout experience directly relates to the success of the sales process. So boosting conversions and optimizing the customer journey to promote positive experiences are really paramount in excelling your brand. Using a SaaS platform like BigCommerce ensures your store is hosted on a reliable and scalable platform that can support a huge volume of orders and site traffic. They have an uptime of 99.9%, so you can rest assured your site will be safe during the peaks and order spikes, compared with some other platforms that encounter a restricted amount of transactions per minute, which may result in like a queuing system and then delays in the purchase process. Some additional features that BigCommerce offer include the ability to add custom fields for both customer accounts and the checkout. So this is really useful for future marketing activity. So data can be collected without the use of a third party. And you also have the ability to show shoppers the terms and conditions actually on the checkout page, which increases transparency between the customer and the brand, and then still helps build that trust that you need. They also have multiple payment gateways to suit your customer and their location. So for example, different payments that are only available or present in certain countries can be used. And there's also a pre-existing integration into payment gateways. It's really quick to set up and it saves a lot of time and development resource. So thanks for listening, everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.